What's up, Shadow Nerds? Long time no see. Before we get started on this video, like and subscribe to the channel so you can see me every time we upload. Oh, by the way, I'm at 194 subscribers as of this video. I know that's not like a shit ton, but it makes me happy. Anyways, let's get to 200 by the end of the week. With that being said, let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. I was super stoked for this movie. I really liked the first two. I might have to do a video on if these three, how good of a trilogy are they, and where do they rank among trilogies of all time. So that might be something to do. But anyways, Godzilla vs. Kong, great movie. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler before we get started on that. So I'm just going to let you know ahead of time. Click away now if you don't want spoilers. Sorry, it's going to happen. Before I say that, though, I did not see Skull Island. So let me throw that in there. Kong Skull Island, didn't see it, don't know what happens. I'm way more of a Godzilla fan than I am a King Kong fan, so that's why. So anything that pertains to that, sorry. So if I say something wrong, I apologize. Anyway, spoilers. So if you don't want to watch them, get out of here now. You got 5 seconds. All right. It's not going to be a full breakdown, but anyways, what I got out of the movie pretty much from the jump was that this is way different of a tone from the first two. Okay, the first one was a lot more serious, had a lot more character and human development, whereas the second one was a lot more focused on monsters. This one, it seemed like that they really tried to do a blend of the first two as far as monster moments and scenes versus human moments. I don't think that we got, I think this might be the least human moments that we actually got, even compared to the second one. At least, what the hell's her name? The girl from that show, Stranger Things. Whatever. Anyways, she was a big part of that movie in the last one with her mom and her dad and that whole thing. Big part of that, whereas this one, she was barely in it. There was a few other human characters in this movie that were great, but the movie didn't spend very much time at all, like, exploring them. There was a lot of moments in there where I would have liked to seen them interact a little bit more and a little bit more character development. But anyways, we're all here to see Godzilla fight King Kong. We don't give a shit about anything else, right? Well, it's because of that point that is really my only kind of negative. Like, it's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but if I had to pick a con, that's going to be it. I think it was the shortest. It was 1 hour and 54 minutes, whereas the other two were over 2:15. If this one was 2:15, spent a little bit extra time just developing those characters, I would have been okay with it. Longer movies don't bother me at all, like Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I will be doing a video on that down the line. Anyways, so we finally get, it starts off way different than the other two, way different tone. We start off with like some funky music. Kong is like just chilling, walking around with his Kong out in this biodome thing that I wasn't aware of. I don't know if that's in Kong Skull Island, but apparently he's in like this containment center on Skull Island, I guess. But like to him, like he knows it's a containment, but like it looks like the jungle or whatever. I don't understand that. It kind of makes sense though, because in King of the Monsters, Godzilla and Ghidorah kind of like called everybody. And Kong never really responded, or if he did, he was locked away. Like, he didn't really go towards it. So that kind of makes sense on that part. Anyways, so they transport him, and we finally get to the fight. It does come to the first fight. There was basically only 2 rounds in this entire movie. The second round was a big round that was kind of like chopped up a little bit. But the first time that we get to see Godzilla and King Kong, they go at it. If I had to pick a winner, it would have been Kong. Why? Well, he cheated. Not like he cheated, but like the humans had to have helped him. By the way, full disclaimer, I was going for Godzilla the entire movie. Whatever, sue me. But he definitely needed the humans' help to win this battle when they dropped the depth charges in there to kind of not scare, but like shock Godzilla into letting him go. Because he was about to drown Kong. Like, he didn't give a fuck. He's like, you're going swimming down here with me, and you ain't going back up unless you're floating. And that was it. So without the humans, he would have died and lost the first round. But by default, they rolled over like a dead possum, played dead after they saved Kong, so Godzilla wouldn't come back and completely finish the job, because he was about to. there was fire everywhere, but they all decided to turn off their engines and everything so Godzilla could like just look and like, okay, are they a threat? And when he realized they weren't a threat, he dipped. Because for a second there was like, wow, he's going to kill Kong in the first 5 minutes of the movie. All right, whatever. We all knew what was going to kind of happen in this movie anyway. We'll get to that later on as far as them being against each other and then eventually coming together to fight a bigger threat. We'll get to that in a little bit. But that part of it was cool. The beginning of it was cool when we saw Godzilla attack, where was it, Pensacola, Florida or whatever, for that facility. And we wondered why he was attacking it. And we wondered why he was, he probably killed thousands of people just right there. But it made sense once we got further along the movie why he did that. But it was cool to show him, like, he's still a monster. He may be good and on our side, but he'll still fuck a whole city up, like, without even trying. So he did that. I love the way they made him look. He looked a little bit different than the first two movies, but that's okay. His scales were a lot more blue this time. Like his atomic energy that he had was showing off a lot more. But anyway, so we progress through the story. They lead Kong to the Antarctic so he can go to this place, which is supposed to get to the Hollow Earth thing. They explored the Hollow Earth thing a lot more in this movie. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I could have spent that time delving into other pieces of Godzilla's story or maybe even Kong's story over the past couple chapters, but it is what it is. It got a little too nerdy at some point when at the end of the day it's supposed to be like the two monsters just beat each other up. So, but it is what it is. It was kind of cool. Had some good acting in there. That was all right. I wouldn't say that it was my favorite part of the movie, but I can deal with it. So, long story short, Kong goes to the Antarctic. They drop him in there after he gets his ass kicked by Godzilla, and he crawls down and into this gravitational thing. And it's really hard to explain and long, and I don't have that long. So, long story short, he gets to this area where it looks like Kong or his ancestors had lived for a long time. Like, this is where they're from. And they have access to the same atomic energy that Godzilla has, and Godzilla's ancestors have had. So, that was pretty cool. That was cool to see, and the little girl that's there, that's the little Indian girl, whatever her name is, that was there to, kind of talk to Kong and stuff. She had a little happy moment seeing him be happy in his little area and stuff like that. So that was cool, but then we get to see a little bit more development on the bigger threat happen, and because of that, Godzilla is on his way to Hong Kong to kind of kill two birds with one stone. The bigger threat was located there. Also, he could sense where Kong was, even though Kong was kind of in the middle of the earth, he could sense where he was with that being the case. So that was kind of cool too. It was like killing two birds with one stone. So all of a sudden we know Godzilla gets to fucking Hong Kong and he just stands over some random ass street and just shoots his atomic breath straight down. While Kong is down there in the middle of the earth, he just shoots it straight down, and he basically used it as a drill, which I thought was fucking cool. Usually he's just shooting it at somebody to hurt somebody, but when he did that and used it as a drill, I thought it was a good concept and a good use of his power other than just hurting things. So that was pretty cool. He eventually did get to the bottom of the earth, and not bottom of the earth, but all the way through the middle, and made a hole so Kong could literally look up and see Godzilla, and Godzilla could literally look down and see him. Their vision must be fucking amazing, because I don't know how thick the earth is or how whatever, but there's no way they can fucking see each other. But it was still pretty cool. So Godzilla roars, Kong roars, and they climb up, and Kong climbs up, and he's back on Earth in the middle of Hong Kong. So what happens? Round fucking 2. Round 2 was the one that we really wanted. It was a lot longer, and this time Kong had a weapon. If you've seen the trailer, then you know what I'm talking about. He has that axe. Well, it's not really an axe. I mean, it is, but basically a bone with a former Godzilla fin as the axe head, which is really fucking cool, and it just goes to show you how strong Godzilla's race or people or whatever he is, and that's awesome to see that. So Kong was using that versus Godzilla. They beat the shit out of each other. Kong definitely had the upper hand sometimes, but at the end of the day, Godzilla is just too big, too fucking strong. probably too old and experienced, and just whooped Kong's ass. He eventually bit him a few times at the point where he pulled his shoulder like out of socket, maybe even like, I don't know what he did, but he did something up and fucked up Kong's shoulder. And it basically, that match kind of was a homage to the original Godzilla vs. Kong, if you ever saw that, the one that Japan produced. There was a moment in there where it was really cool where Godzilla was getting ready to shoot his atomic breath, and he tried a few times, and Kong kept stopping it, right? He'd punch him as soon as it was getting ready to come out. But this time, in reference to the old Godzilla vs. Kong movie, where Kong shoves a tree in Godzilla's mouth immediately and stops him from really doing anything, Godzilla went to go shoot it in this movie, and as soon as he did, Kong took the other end of the axe, the bone end, and just shoved it in his mouth and kind of stopped it before anything happened. I thought that was a cool little callback to the original, which was super corny or whatever, but it's kind of fun to watch. So I thought that was awesome. But anyways, Godzilla eventually gets the best of him. Kong tries to get up. He can't. His shoulder's just too fucked up. And she mentions the line in the movie, Kong bows to no one. Well, sorry, bitch, he did. So he couldn't get up. Godzilla steps up on him, steps on his chest, like, what the fuck you gonna do? And Kong, like, Godzilla roars at him. Kong roars back, but it was kind of like I'm roaring back because I'm not scared of you, but at the same time, I don't have a choice because you're standing on front of me or on top of me. You're kind of fucking heavy, and I can't beat your ass. So I just have to deal with it. So he scratches his chest a few times, steps on him, looks at him like, you gonna do something? Kong's pretty much like, no, I'm done. Godzilla steps off, walks away, victory walk, does that little look back like, and so he kept going. Kong, it comes to be found out by the little girl who's deaf but can somehow like still hear, I don't know if she's deaf or mute or whatever, but she can still hear Kong's like heartbeat, and she says that he's dying. So you want to fast forward the story, you could say, if you just stopped it right there, because he's dying, Godzilla killed King Kong. End of movie, right? No, because at the end of the day, these are two heroes, I guess, that nobody really wants to see either one of them die. So of course they had to do something to bring him back up. And that is exactly when the third threat and overall threat comes back, or into the movie. The humans have created something called Mecha Godzilla. How did they do this? Well, if you remember the end of the last movie, King of Monsters, there was a teaser in there where the old dude somehow got access to King Ghidorah's head, one of his heads, and was going to use it somehow. I, at the time, thought he was going to create Mecha Ghidorah, which kind of would have made sense. However, they said, fuck all that, they skipped it, and they made a Mecha Godzilla. They used the DNA from this Ghidorah skull, because it's self-replicating and all that kind of stuff. They used the DNA from it to help power the Mecha Godzilla machinery monster that they had created. I mean, it's big, it looks like a giant transformer. Some people might disagree and hate the look of it, and that's okay. I didn't mind the look of it. It wasn't my favorite, but at the end of the day, he looked like a mix between a transformer and like the Megazord from Power Rangers. But whatever. So he comes up, looks a little taller than Kong, or Godzilla, and he has some kind of breath as well. I don't know what it is, but he eventually, I mean, not eventually, pretty much right off the bat, is beating the shit out of Godzilla. Like he stole his money or something. He's grabbing him by the neck, running him into buildings, tossing him, stepping on him, hitting him with some atomic blast type of fist, which I thought was kind of cool. But I started to be like, I'm not about to fucking watch a movie where Godzilla gets his ass kicked and then eventually dies. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but it still pissed me off, right? So basically, they saved Kong. They used some electromagnetic pulse type of situation to kind of revive Kong's heart. He wakes up, he sees Godzilla getting his ass whooped by Mecha, and the little girl's like, you gotta save Kong, whatever, the sign language thing that she was doing. She's like, you gotta save Godzilla. Kong's like, no, I don't want to save him, he just beat my ass. And she's like, please. And Kong's like, alright, fine. So he gets up, and he attacks Kong, or Godzilla. I'm sorry, there's like way too much fucking monsters going on. Kong attacks Mecha Godzilla the moment before he was getting ready to energy beam the real Godzilla's head from existence. Like, he was that close to killing him. Kong saves him. Both of them tag up on Mechagodzilla, beat the shit out of him. He gets the best of both of them for a second, Mecha does, and to the point where he's this close to killing Kong in the movie, and it made me be like, Kong, you just ain't doing good, bro. That's twice now a Godzilla of any kind has pretty much killed you. But anyways, just as he does it, Godzilla shoots his atomic breath at the axe that Kong was holding. Kong gets his good moment of the movie and his badass moment. He hits him a few times with the axe to the point where he basically chops off his head at the end, which was cool. Held it up, and he was like, I'm the man, or the gorilla, whatever. He held up his head like, I'm a badass, beat his chest a few times, and then at the end of it, he like kind of collapsed on the ground because he was so tired. Godzilla looks at him, and he's like, you want any of this? Kong's like, no, I'm good. Sets his axe down. I don't want no smoke. And Kong was like, or Godzilla was like, okay, good. Goes back into the ocean. Kong goes his separate ways. At the end of the movie, basically Kong goes back to the middle of the hollow earth and just kind of chills out there, and that's going to be his new spa, you know, or whatever.